Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us start the class. Okay. So, yesterday we have started about discussing about real cycles. Means what is the difference between real cycles and ideal cycles, and we had noted some points, some 7 or 8 points about the main differences. Okay, some of them are very important as we have discussed, such as for example the irreversibility in the compression and expansion process. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see the screen? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So for example, the compression or expansion process are the irreversibility that is present in them has a significant effect on the efficiency. Then again, pressure losses also have some effect. Again, some other losses are there which may not have so much effect. So for example, the bearing and windage losses, which have some effect but not as high as the other things. So and first we have seen how to take into account the effect of variation in kinetic energy, and we noted that instead of taking static properties such as static enthalpy, static temperature and static pressure as we usually do like H, T and P, instead we can just take the stagnation properties H0, T0 and P0 and do the same calculations, means all the calculations that we were doing, but this time with stagnation properties. Then automatically the effect of kinetic energy will be incorporated as we have seen inside. Means for example the work output from the turbine, if we denote it in terms of the change in stagnation enthalpy, automatically any change in kinetic energy is inbuilt into this equation. Similarly for the combustion chamber, if we uh, denote the heat input to the means through the combustion process as a change in stagnation enthalpy, automatically the effect of kinetic energy change is taken into care in this. So as a result, we can do all the calculation in terms of stagnation properties that we have noted. Okay, and what is the relation between static and stagnation property, that also we have seen. So if static temperature is T1, stagnation temperature is T1 plus V1 square by 2 Cp, and that is how you can draw also in the TS diagram. So for example, the corresponding static pressure is P1 for temperature T1. So for stagnation temperature T01, the stagnation pressure P01 line will look like this. Means it will be higher than P1, and it can be easily calculated by using the isentropic relation from ideal gas laws. So the second difference that we were considering between ideal and real cycles was the effect of irreversibility. Irreversibility where? Irreversibility in the compressor and turbine, because irreversibility can also like there is also pressure loss in the combustion process, but for this case we are just considering the compressor and turbine processes. Okay, and what was the way to denote or to take into account this irreversibility? So by defining two parameters, the isentropic efficiency of the compressor which is given in terms of H02S minus H01, as you can see from this diagram, divided by H02 minus H01, means the ideal work input by the actual work input. So this will be some term which is less than 1. So this is our isentropic efficiency of the compressor. Similarly for the turbine, the definition is in the opposite way. It is the actual work output divided by the ideal work output, because in this case the actual work output is less. So H03 minus H04 by H03 minus H04S will give you the isentropic efficiency of the turbine. And you can write them in terms of the temperature also, if you consider that the Cp is constant along the entire process, so that you can eliminate Cp. If Cp is not constant along the entire process, you cannot write them in this form. But for our course, we will assume that Cp is constant. Although we will assume different Cp values later on for the compression process and the expansion in the turbine, because in the compression process we have air, and in the expansion in the turbine we have combustion products. So we will take that into account, but we will not consider the effect of temperature on Cp in our course. But in real life design, you have to also consider the effect of temperature on CP. Okay. So that the variation of temperature, like variation of CP with temperature, needs to be taken into account. So now with this calculation, with this definitions, it is very easy to again calculate the efficiency and work output. So what you have to do also, we have discussed, as some of you have pointed out in the previous class. If the 0.01 is given to you, excuse me, if the 0.01 is given to you, you can calculate easily the 0.02s, the isentropic point, using the isentropic relation and the pressure ratio. Once you know the 0.02s, you can use the relation of the efficiency. Okay, so because you know T02s and T01 is already given to you, directly you can calculate T02. Similarly, for the turbine also, first you have to find the isentropic point from the pressure ratio and then find the actual point based on the given efficiency. Efficiency has to be given to you, obviously, otherwise you will not be able to do it. So that is how you can, once you find the actual points, you can find the work output from the turbine, which is based on the actual points, actual process, not isentropic process. So Cp T03 minus T04 is the actual work output. I hope this is clear. This is very trivial. And what we have seen is also how to denote this compressor work and turbine work in terms of variables which are known to us. Okay. So for example, we have seen the calculation for compressor work. The specific compressor work input using some calculation to be CpT01 compression ratio to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1 by eta c. So all the terms here are known. Cp is a known term. T01 is the inlet temperature fixed by design or ambient condition. Rc is the compressor pressure ratio, which is fixed by the designer, and efficiency depends on the manufacturing process and the like how it is assembled, this compressor, how many stages are present. So that is also a known quantity for our calculations. Similarly, also for the turbine, we can do the same calculations. So at T03 temperature will be known based on the highest temperature sustainable in the turbine blades. All the other factors are also known. And in some cases, like very limited number of cases, sometimes it is given that lot of kinetic energy of the exhaust gas is getting lost. In that case, we can also take into account the static condition at the outlet instead of the stagnation condition for the turbine calculation. Okay. If it is not given, if anything is not given, we can assume the previous part. Depending on the problem, we can solve. And we also noted that although there are a lot of drawbacks of this inefficiency of the compressor and turbine, one side effect or one positive side effect is that we need less amount of heat input in the combustion chamber, because the temperature of the outlet gases from the compressor is higher. The temperature difference that needs to be created in the combustion process is less, and less heat input, and as a consequence less fuel is required in the combustion chamber. Okay, this is the only side effect, but the overall efficiency will go down of the system because of these losses. Now from that point onwards, let us continue today. So there is a particular case now, because the turbine and compressor are not fully efficient. Even if they were fully efficient also, there is a particular point at which the cycle will not give you any net work output. Okay, this happens when the cycle collapses to a single line, as we have seen. Means the compression ratio is so high. The compression ratio is so high that the outlet temperature from the compressor reaches the maximum temperature. Let me go back to the cycle again. Okay. There may be some lag, so you have to bear with me. Okay, so this is the cycle. So for example, for some compression ratio, if this T02 temperature becomes equal to T03, then we will not be able to create any work output. Okay, in that case. So if it was an ideal cycle, then this cycle would have looked like we would have gone from 01 to 02s, and 03 would have coincided with 02s, and we have again gone down from there. And as a result, there would be no work output. But in this case, we can have deviations like this and still have no work output, because net work output remains 0. Net heat input from the combustion chamber also remains 0, because 02 and 03 coincides. Okay. So when can that happen? When the compressor work input is equal to the turbine work output. Okay. And we have found expression for the compressor work input and turbine work output from here. So let me keep it open in another tab. Somewhat smaller font. Let us keep this open. So that we have to not again and again scroll down. Okay. So this was the expression for the compressor work input. So this is equal to the turbine work output, which was given by this expression. Okay, let both of them be open. WC was CpT01 RC to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma minus 1 by isentropic efficiency of the compressor. Similarly, we had another expression for the turbine work. So if we equate these two, we get a condition where there is no net work output from the cycle. Okay. And if you equate these two and assume that the compressor pressure ratio is equal to the turbine pressure ratio, that is, there is no pressure loss in the combustion chamber, you can just replace this RC and RT with a common pressure ratio R. Okay, and do the calculation. CP will cancel, and after some algebraic calculation, so you bring T03 by T01 to one side and take out R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma from this expression. So you will have 1 minus 1 by R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma. So after some cancellation, you will be left with this term. The temperature ratio T, which is equal to maximum temperature by minimum temperature, T03 by T01, is equal to R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma divided by the product of compressor efficiency and turbine efficiency. Okay. So this relation gives us the minimum value of temperature ratio required for a particular value of pressure ratio to get any work output. Below this, we will not get any work output. Okay, it's not sustainable, the cycle. So you can see that if the efficiency is 1 also for both compressor and turbine, still we have some value. T should be equal to R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma, which corresponds to the case when the compressor outlet temperature becomes equal to the outlet temperature from the combustion chamber for the isentropic case also. Okay, so for example, if the point 02s becomes equal to 03, and if the efficiency is 1, these 2 points will coincide and you will have no net work output. If these processes are not isentropic, means if 01 to 02 is non-isentropic like shown here, and 03 to 04 is non-isentropic as shown here, then this is the expression for the minimum temperature ratio required to generate any work output. Below this, we will not be able to generate any work output, and we will get unphysical results like we have seen in one case of our graphs. We plotted one graph with T equal to 2, and we have seen that for higher value of R, we got some unrealistic result, which was not physical. Okay, so that was just some spurious result, because at that point the normal cycle was not valid. If you develop your own graphs, you will also see the same case. Okay, if it is open, we can show. Let it be open. Anyway, the other important term that we can calculate from here is known as work ratio. Okay, so what is work ratio? Work ratio is defined as the net work output by the turbine work output. Okay, in some sense, this is also an expression of the efficiency, kind of. So it is the net. So it actually shows us that the compressor work input is quite less as compared to the turbine work output. So this W net by WT can be written as 1 minus WC by WT. And again, you replace the expressions that we have derived in these cases for both the cases. and you will get this work ratio as 1 minus R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma, which is equal to C. We have previously denoted. Okay, R to the power gamma minus 1 by gamma divided by the temperature ratio T and the product of the two efficiencies. Okay, so work ratio increases if temperature ratio increases. This is obvious to us. If we can increase the temperature ratio, then we will get more work output from the turbine, and the work input to the compressor will also increase, but not in a way as proportional to the work output from the turbine. Okay, so we'll get more work output to the turbine, but it also decreases, means the work ratio decreases if R increases, or the work ratio increases if R decreases. It has the opposite effect. Okay, so if R increases, then although more work output and more work input is obtained from the turbine, but these processes come closer together. Means the 0 to 1, 01 to 02 and 03 to 04 processes come closer together. Okay, and as a result, what will happen? The difference in both the cases are not much. As a result, the WC by WT term increases. Okay, the difference between work input to the compressor is not as different as compared to the work output from the turbine. Remember that these lines are diverging. The main thing why turbine work output is greater as compared to compressor work input is that the lines are diverging. The constant pressure lines are diverging. Okay, so if you bring any two processes closer, the variation between them will be less. If the processes are very far away, the variations will increase, as we have seen for the intercooled or reheat cycle. As far as possible, we should take them away so that we get more difference between, for the same pressure ratio, more difference between the turbine work output and compressor work input. Okay. So this is how we can take into account the inefficiency of the compressor and turbine using isentropic relation. Okay. This is already open. This is not relevant, just wanted to show you again that how we get unphysical results. For this case, it is not there. For the work output, I think we have seen. I think if we have higher values, then I can show. Now we can see. Okay, so these are all physical results. This result for t equal to 2, which has gone like this. So up to this point, it was correct, but later on, this result at very high value of R greater than 30, this is a spurious result, because it is not possible to have the cycle pressure ratio greater than some 22 or 23, something like that. So after this, we are getting some spurious result. This vertical line is a spurious result. Okay, so that's why you can get spurious results if you are not careful. That I just found. So there is a limit of the cycle. Okay, so let us. So we'll discuss further about this inefficiency in the compressor and turbine. Okay, so till now we have discussed how to take this inefficiency into account by using the isentropic efficiency term, like compressor efficiency, isentropic compressor efficiency, and isentropic turbine efficiency. There is also another type of efficiency that we can define, which actually captures this inefficiencies in this compressor and turbine more accurately. Okay, and this efficiency is known as polytropic efficiency. It is different from isentropic efficiency, and we will see how this is defined. Okay, and later on I will also make it clear why it is known as polytropic efficiency. So this is known as polytropic efficiency. And before going into the definition of polytropic efficiency, let us first see what is the drawback of using this isentropic efficiency. Okay. So if you look at the diagram, let us take a look at the diagram. I will come to these points later. Let us take a look at the diagram. Okay. So you say you have a multi-stage compressor, as is the case in real life scenario, and the entire compression process occurs from 1 to 2. Okay, the entire compression process goes from 1 to 2. The ideal or isentropic process corresponding to this real process goes from 1 to 2s. Okay, so instead of 1 to 2, it goes from 1 to 2s. And say it is divided into 3 stages, as you can see by these red lines, constant pressure lines. So for example, from 1 to this point, okay, in the second constant pressure line is the first stage, or for the actual process 1 to this point is the first stage. From this point to the second constant pressure line is the second stage, and from this point to the final point 2 is the third stage. Okay, so each of these corresponds to one stage of the compressor. Now, if we define the isentropic efficiency of the stage, okay, so typically stages, stages are as compared to the whole compressor, stages are smaller device. Okay, so not much variation occurs. So, and if all the stages are manufactured in the same way, we can consider that the isentropic efficiency of each of the stage is similar. Okay, because it depends on the surface finish and other things. Okay. Which leads to frictional losses. So for each stage, say the isentropic efficiency is given by eta stage. Okay, so isentropic efficiency for each stage is eta stage. So for any typical stage, as you can see from here, the middle line, let me zoom in a little for this case. The ideal or isentropic work input is shown by the pink line. I have not given any values here, but it is the pink line which you can see here. And the real temperature change is given by the delta T stage. Okay, this green arrow, double-headed arrow, green double-headed arrow gives us the actual temperature isentropic. Okay, so we can define the isentropic efficiency of this stage as eta stage is equal to this delta Ts stage, which is the isentropic temperature change in this stage, by delta Ts by delta T stage, okay, which is the actual temperature change, delta Ts comma stage by delta T stage. Okay, from where we can write this delta T stage or the actual change in temperature as the ideal change in temperature delta Ts stage divided by the isentropic efficiency of this stage. So now if I add up, so this is for one stage, okay, going from this point to this point. If I want to go from 1 to 2 point, I have to add up the temperature differences for all these stages, going from 1 to say this point 2 dash, from 2 dash to 2 double dash, then to the final point 2. So the total change in temperature, actual change in temperature in the compressor is summation of the actual change in temperature in each stage, which is summation of delta T stage, okay, which we can write as summation of this term for all the stages, summation of delta Ts stage by efficiency of the isentropic efficiency of each stage. Okay, let this be 0.1. Now the overall efficiency is a separate parameter. Okay, let us call the overall efficiency of the compressor as eta C. So the overall efficiency, how it will be defined? It will be the overall change in isentropic temperature by the overall change in the actual temperature, right? So overall change in isentropic temperature, let us call this as delta Ts. Okay, not delta Ts stage, only delta Ts. So the overall efficiency is delta Ts by the difference of temperature between 1 and 2, which we have already seen is equal to summation of delta T stage. Okay, so delta Ts by summation of delta T stage. Okay, let this be 2. I have not given the mark here. This is 0.2. Okay, equation 2. Okay, we will do it later. This is equation 2. So from these two equations, you can find that. So what you need to do is that you will find that this summation delta t stage, okay, delta ts stage. So summation of this isentropic term with this expression, okay, and you will get summation of delta ts stage by eta stage is equal to delta ts by eta c, okay. So this is a relation between the stage efficiency and the compressor efficiency, and you can write this in this way. The overall compressor efficiency is equal to the isentropic stage efficiency, if you bring this to the other side, into delta Ts, which is the overall temperature change from 1 to 2 process, divided by summation of, sorry, we did not eliminate this, we eliminated this 1 to 2 term. So by the summation of this, each of this isentropic process. I will make it clear again, okay. I just confused you, all of you. So we have eliminated this term from 1 to 2, okay, by using these two equations. So what we are left with is, on one side, summation of delta Ts stage, okay. So this line, this vertical line, let me go back to this vertical line, then this pink line, and this again pink line, all the vertical pink lines, okay, which are the isentropic processes for each stage. These are the isentropic processes for each stage, okay. So summation of all these isentropic processes, and on the other side we have the overall isentropic process 1 to 2s, okay. So the final expression of compressor efficiency can be written in terms of the isentropic stage efficiency multiplied by the overall. Let me also increase this size also, okay. This is important to understand. So it is stage efficiency divided multiplied by this 1 to 2s temperature change delta Ts, okay, the overall isentropic change in temperature by summation of each of this isentropic change in temperature delta Ts stage, each of this isentropic change in temperature. This term within the bracket is less than 1. Why? Because see, first part coincides, okay. For the second stage, this blue vertical line will have a smaller length as compared to the pink vertical line, because the lines are diverging, the constant pressure lines are diverging. So the pink line will have a longer length as compared to the blue line. So if we just compare from the overall isentropic process as compared to the actual isentropic process for the stage, the actual isentropic temperature change is higher, okay. Similarly for this line also, the blue line is different from the pink line, and the length of the pink line is higher as compared to the blue line, okay. So summation of all these individual processes is greater than the overall process, like temperature change during the overall process. So as a result, this term within the bracket is less than 1, and the overall compressor efficiency is less than the isentropic efficiency of each stage, okay. And this will keep on increasing if you keep on increasing the number of stage, which means that if you increase the pressure ratio, this will keep on increasing, okay. This difference between the overall compressor efficiency and the stage efficiency of the compressor, this will keep on increasing, because these lines will keep on diverging more and more. You will go towards more and more towards the right hand side, and as you can see, higher up the lines are even more different. So if you go towards more towards the right hand side, the next line will be even longer as compared to this line, okay. So because these lines are diverging, you get, for higher pressure ratio, you get much lesser overall efficiency as compared to stage isentropic efficiency, okay. So what is the meaning of all this? I will come back to your questions later if there are questions, but what is the meaning of all this? It means that if, say, the stage efficiency of a single stage is defined by the isentropic efficiency, the overall isentropic efficiency of the entire compressor cannot be taken as constant. Okay, it's not a good measure if you take a overall constant efficiency, because we have seen that the overall efficiency will change with the pressure ratio and the number of stages. Okay, so for overall cycle calculation, fixed value of compression, isentropic efficiency of the compressor and isentropic efficiency of the turbine is not suitable. Same thing can be also done for turbine. You will see same thing can also be done for the turbine. So the overall isentropic, a constant overall isentropic efficiency for the compressor or turbine is not correct, or not a good way to do the calculation. We can do it, but it's not a good way. Okay, because they will vary with the pressure ratio in real life scenario. So there should be something more accurate which we can define to take this change into account. Okay, so we will come into this, but let me just go through some of these points which I have noted, which is just based on the discussion that we have done right now. Okay, so we have seen eta C is less than eta stage. This is because vertical distance between the pair of constant pressure lines increases with increasing value of S. Okay, increasing value of entropy. This distance between the pair of constant pressure line keeps on increasing. As a result, overall efficiency is less than eta stage. Okay, and this difference between the overall efficiency and stage efficiency keeps on increasing with increasing number of stages and increasing pressure ratio. Physically, why it happens? Physically, it happens because of inefficiency in a stage, the output of temperature, like the temperature out of the output gases from each stage is higher due to frictional losses as compared to an isentropic case. Okay, so because of this, more work output is required. More work input is required for the next stages, because now you have shifted towards the right hand side. So because you have shifted towards the right hand side, you need more work input. Okay, as more and more you go towards the right hand side in the TS diagram, more and more work input will be required, even if the process is isentropic, right? Because the lines are diverging, the constant pressure lines are diverging. So as a result, any frictional loss will lead the next stage to go towards more work input. That is the reason physically. Okay. Similarly, for turbines also, I will not do it, but it is left as an exercise for you. You can show by similar calculation that the overall turbine efficiency is greater than the individual stage efficiency. They are actually the opposite thing occurs. Actually, the frictional heating is partially recovered in the next stage. So any change due to friction, if I go back to a real life scenario like this, okay. So instead of outlet temperature being 04S, we get a temperature 04. Okay. So the inlet temperature for the next stage of the turbine will be higher as compared to the ideal case. So we can get more work output from the next stage as compared to the ideal case. Okay. So some of the losses is recovered as work output in the next stage. Okay. So as a result, the overall efficiency is greater than individual stage efficiency. Okay. And still the overall efficiency depends on the pressure ratio. Now there is another approach for calculating this overall efficiency of the compressor or turbine, and this approach is known as defining a efficiency called polytropic efficiency. Okay, for the so now we will see what is this polytropic efficiency. Any questions at this point? Is it clear to all of you why for a constant stage isentropic efficiency, the overall efficiency changes? Overall efficiency is also isentropic efficiency, but it is not constant.
What is that you showed with green line T stage efficiency?
Yes.
That is because of when we calculating the overall efficiency of compressor, we are taking step by step at pink line and blue line, which is overall, and the step by step pink line. So where the green line efficiency green lines work, sir?
No, I will explain again. Okay. Take any stage. Take just one stage out of all the stages. Take this middle stage. Okay. This middle stage. For this middle stage, what is the isentropic work input? Means if the process was isentropic, what would have been the work input? We would have gone from this point
Delta
to this
TS stage. Yes, pink line.
delta T stage. Okay. And what is the actual work input? It will depend on
Green line.
green line, delta T stage. Okay. So what is the isentropic efficiency of this stage? It is delta TS stage by delta T stage, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes,
for
sir.
the next stage, what would have happened? Same thing. Pink line by, if we would have done another, like the difference between this point and this point, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is the, like, for each stage you can calculate the like you have the same isentropic efficiency, where the actual process is given by the green lines. Okay, I could have drawn another green line here. It would have looked very long, like from this point up to this point. This entire difference would have been the second green line, right? Because we are going from this to this. Very large temperature difference is occurring. Now for the overall compressor, what is the ideal? So if I just combine all these stages together as a single process, like we have done in the calculation of the cycles, what would have been the work input from 1 to 2s delta Ts? Is it correct to you?
Yes, sir.
And what would have been the work input in real life? Means non-ideal. If we
That would be
just
the
combine all,
summation of green lines, no, sir.
yes, that would be the summation of green lines. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in both cases, you can green lines. Okay, which we are calling as delta T stage, summation of delta T stage. Okay, so from point 1, the summation of delta T stage is summation of delta Ts stage by eta stage, and from the overall efficiency, this summation of delta T stage is this delta Ts by eta C. Okay, this delta summation of delta T stage is same summation of the green lines. Okay, now if you replace the green lines, you will be just left with one summation of these blue lines and another summation of these pink lines. Okay, and this relates the isentropic efficiency to the overall efficiency. Okay, isentropic efficiency of the stage to the overall efficiency.
We are finding relation between two by omitting one another. No, sir.
Yes, you are omitting the green line to
Okay.
find the relation between what is the difference between this length of 1 to 2s and difference and the summation of these pink lines. Okay, and the
Okay, sir.
summation of the pink lines will be longer than the 1 to 2s process. Why it
Yes,
will
sir.
be longer? Because you are towards the right hand side,
Because
right?
the curve is diverging. Yes, sir.
Yes, because the curve is diverging. You try the same thing after the class or when you are studying about this material for the turbine also, and find out that for the turbine the opposite is occurring. Eta T is greater than eta stage. All of you try this. Okay, eta T is greater than eta stage. You just find this out. So now the thing is that these efficiencies, what does this depend on, these efficiencies? Okay, why there is an inefficiency, why there is a inefficiency in the process, like irreversibility. Okay, this occurs as a result of frictional losses. Okay, and the frictional losses depend mainly on how the manufacturing processes are there. Like, say for example, if you consider a turbine or a compressor from long back, say 1950, and you compare it with a compressor which has been designed and manufactured in 2020. Okay, the manufacturing capabilities over the 70 years has significantly improved. So we will get much better surface finish, much less surface roughness, much better quality of the surface basically, uh, of the each of the individual blades of the compressor and turbine. Okay, and the casing also. So mainly it is about the blades. Okay, so now as a result we can surmise that we can assume that because we are getting much better quality of surface finish, our frictional losses will be much less for the 2020 blade as compared to the 1950 blade. Okay, because of the improvement in manufacturing processes in recent years, because we are developing much better quality surface finish as compared to previous years, our frictional losses should be also less. Okay, frictional losses due to surface and gases. Okay, not between the gas itself. And so it leads us to believe that this manufacturing, this say the manufacturing method is actually mostly responsible for the losses. Okay, so if you manufacture, say, in one plant which has very high quality manufacturing equipment, say I am manufacturing a turbine blade in Germany, okay, which has, or in Japan, which has a, or say Germany, for engineering, Germany is very good. So I am manufacturing a turbine blade in Germany, where the manufacturing instruments are of very high quality. The quality of the surface will be very high and the frictional losses will be very less. Same thing, say I am manufacturing somewhere else. Okay, say I am manufacturing very inexpensively in some plant in China. Okay, with a very much less cost, where the manufacturing tolerances are like not as strict. As a result, the surface quality will be poorer and your efficiency will also be poor. Okay, between the, if you compare the blade with the blade that is manufactured in Germany. Okay, so ultimately what it means, what I am going about round and round in a roundabout way, is that the surface finish depends only on the mostly on the manufacturing process, and the surface finish gives us the inefficiency. Okay, quality of surface finish gives us the inefficiency. So this inefficiency, or if I try to define efficiency, should depend on the manufacturing process itself. Okay, and should not depend on the pressure ratio or other things. Okay, the overall efficiency may depend on the pressure ratio, but if I just take a small section of the blade, the frictional losses over the small section of the blade will only depend on the surface finish. Okay, if I take a very small section of the blade, the flow is occurring over the blade and it depends on the frictional losses depend on the surface finish. Okay, so if I can define an efficiency, okay, which is for an infinitesimal section of the blade, like a very small section of the compressor. Okay, so say you have a compression process going from 1 to 2 and you take a very small section of the process, very small section. Okay, infinitesimal. In that case, the inefficiency there would only, the inefficiency will be a particular value. Say the inefficiency, the efficiency of that very small section is say 90%. Okay, if you go to any other part of the blade or other part of the compressor, say I go to some other part of the compressor and again take a very small section, okay, I should get the same inefficiency or same efficiency value, 90%. Why? Because we have manufactured this entire blade or entire, like all set of blades from the same plant. So please switch off your mic. Switch off your mic. Okay. So the efficiency of this infinitesimal or very small stage remains constant throughout the process. Okay, because it only depends on the manufacturing process, it remains constant throughout the process. It does not change wherever we take this small stage. If I have drawn another small stage here somewhere below, there also the efficiency would have been same. For any of the small stages, the efficiency remains same. Okay, but it has to be a very small stage. Okay, very small section. So we will define one efficiency now, which we will call as polytropic efficiency, eta infinite. It is denoted by eta infinite. Okay, it is defined as the isentropic efficiency. Okay, this is also an isentropic efficiency, so it's defined as an isentropic efficiency of an elemental stage. Okay, a very small stage, infinitesimal stage, an elemental stage in the entire process, such that it is constant throughout the process. Okay, so this small stage efficiency, wherever you take, this small stage efficiency will remain constant. Okay, overall efficiency may change with the pressure ratio, but this infinitesimal, for this infinitesimal stage, the efficiency remains constant. And how do we define it graphically? This eta efficiency for the compressor, eta infinity comma compressor, is equal to the isentropic change in temperature, dTs, because it's infinitesimal, we are denoting it by dTs, okay, divided by actual change in temperature, which is dt, okay, dTs by dt. Similar way to what we have defined for the stages. Like for the stages, we have defined like this, but instead of taking a finite length of the stage, this is a infinitesimal stage, very small stage, okay, theoretical stage, you can say, just a very elemental volume. And this does not change along the length of the blade, because say tolerances and manufacturing processes remain same for the blades for a particular plant, and as a result the quality of surface finish remains same, and you get the same small stage efficiency for the entire compressor. Now, if you compare the small stage efficiency of another compressor, say one developed in Germany with a very high quality surface finish, as compared to another developed in China with a lower quality surface finish, you will see that for the higher quality surface finish, the small stage efficiency is higher. Like the compressor in Germany has a higher small stage efficiency as compared to the small stage efficiency of the, or the polytropic efficiency of the component developed in China. Okay, but it remains constant throughout the entire compressor, wherever it is developed. Okay, is this clear or is it confusing? I guess it is slightly confusing. Please let me know if there is any question here.
So we should improve the manufacturing for the compressor only, na? For the turbine we should keep it that one, no, sir?
For both we have to improve. For both we have to improve.
But
Okay,
turbine it is helping, no, sir, somehow.
it is not helping. It is partially helping,
Yes.
but the losses are more as compared to the partial help, as you will see later. Okay, so the actual work
Sir,
output is still less. Yes.
Sir, why are we taking infinitesimal small reason?
Yes, very good question. Why are we taking infinitesimal? Okay, so think about this case now. If we do not take infinitesimal stage, if we take a finite stage like this, okay. So for this finite stage, say you have defined one efficiency, okay, isentropic efficiency for this stage. So if the stage length would have been longer, okay, do you think that the efficiency would have remained same for this stage? Say you have some stage, say this stage, first stage, okay, you compare this with if I could have drawn the lines here, it would have been much nicer. Okay, can we draw here or something is possible? Only highlight, huh? Edit. Oh no, it will need to download. I will just verbally say, you have to assume, okay, what I'm trying to say here. Or just just wait for a minute. Okay, just wait for a minute. I will just explain, okay? Just wait for a minute. So these confusions are arising because I cannot use a board. Okay. Otherwise, it would have been much easier. Not this one. So say I will try to draw here. Okay, it's not very perfect, but let me try to draw here. Say you have a TS diagram like this. Okay, it's difficult to draw here, but and you have different stages like this. Okay, let me first draw the constant pressure lines. This is not accurate. They are diverging. Okay, is this. And another process is like this. It's very exaggerated way I'm drawing. Okay, just to show you what I mean by what is happening. Okay, so for one case, so this is the overall isentropic process. Okay, and say we are going from this case. Can you see what I'm drawing? Trying to draw it at least.
Yes, sir.
Drawing
Yes.
is not perfect. Very difficult to draw here using the mouse. Oh, it's too difficult. It's too difficult to draw. Just want to go to the right hand. It's not going to the right hand side. This is too cumbersome. Anyway, so this is the second.
Sir, you can open the PDF with Microsoft Edge. Over there, you can draw it on the PDF itself.
Oh, can I draw over the PDF?
Open it with Microsoft Edge.
Okay. Let us try your suggestion. Okay. Microsoft, open it with Microsoft Edge. Now I can draw here.
There is a draw option. Huh?
Yes. Let us try to do it. Okay. Let us try to draw here. Let us increase the size. This is much better. Thank you for your suggestion. Because here already everything is drawn. I can just show what I mean. Okay. So this line, okay, divided by this line. This is much better. Thank you for the suggestion. This is the efficiency of the first stage. Compare this to this line. Okay. By this line. Whatever is this line. Okay. I'm using the mouse, so it's very difficult to draw. So if you say what would be which stage efficiency do you think will be? Do you think both the efficiency of both the stages will be same, or there is a difference in efficiency of each of the stages?
Difference.
Difference is there. Lower stage will be higher.
Lower stage will be higher. Why this is happening? Because you have same pressure ratio, right? The pressure ratios are same for both cases, but higher stages you are going towards more right hand side. Okay, so the stage efficiency is also changing. The way we have defined, we have for the simple calculation, I have shown you a constant stage efficiency, but in real life, the stage efficiency will also change for each of the stages. Okay. And the second thing is that if the pressure ratio is increased for the same stage, okay, if I increase the pressure ratio for this stage itself, the stage will go like this, and it will go beyond this line like this. Okay, this is another constant pressure line like this. So if you keep on increasing the pressure ratio for this stage, again the stage efficiency will keep on changing. Okay. So then what it means is that you cannot have actually constant stage efficiency. Okay. So the only thing that is not going to change is that if I take an infinitesimal size, okay, infinitesimal means delta size, very small size, okay, and At that point, the frictional losses or the isentropic losses just depend on the surface finish. Okay, and it should not change with the it should not change with the say, or we would say with the overall pressure ratio of the stage or overall pressure ratio of the compressor. Okay, so what happens is that these lengths are so small, that the efficiency, like the ratio, remains almost constant everywhere. Actually, this is also not true in a sense if you go towards the right hand side, but this is how we define the polytropic efficiency. Okay, this is more accurate because it does not depend on any pressure ratio or length of the stage. What we have just seen now is that the pressure, this efficiency depends, isentropic efficiency depends on the length of the stage or where the stage is occurring. But for this case, because it is just infinitesimal, so it is only dependent on the surface finish and not on anything else. Okay, so by assuming this constant efficiency for infinitesimal stage, what we are going to do next in the next class is that we are going to relate it to the overall efficiency. Okay, and we can find out what is the variation in the overall efficiency as compared to a constant polytropic efficiency. Is it clear or shall I explain again? Okay, I will continue the discussion in the next class, but you just think about it. Okay, think about what I am trying to say here. So
Yes, sir.
you got it, right? So this, anywhere you take a very small section, the ratio will remain similar. However, for the overall process, because this line is diverging more and more from that line, the change is getting more and more exaggerated. So overall efficiency will change drastically. But because these lines are always very near, for the infinitesimal processes, these lines are always very near to the actual process. So if I draw another line here, for example, this is also very near to this process, the ratio remains almost same. Okay, so wherever, because they are not far away from each other, the ideal and actual process, so the differences are almost relatively similar. So as a result, we can define a efficiency, okay, which is constant whether I am considering this point, or say I am considering this point, or I am considering this point, or any other point, wherever. So if I take another small pressure difference here, then also the small stage efficiency will be similar. The polytropic efficiency will be similar. By definition, it is constant. In real life, actually, it will also change slightly, but by definition, we are defining this to be constant throughout the entire process. Why we are defining it to be constant throughout the entire process? So that for further calculation, wherever there is any change in pressure ratio or number of stages, we can more accurately calculate what is the actual change in efficiency based on this polytropic efficiency. We will continue this discussion. I will repeat this part and continue this discussion in the next class. Okay, so we'll stop here, and I will take the attendance. Okay, I don't want to save changes. Any other question?